a wrestler. Yeah, he takes risks, but he's not a wrestler. He's not booked like a wrestler, and he just does damage for me. It makes it, again, it's one of those situations where if you've got somebody who's not a wrestling fan round for the evening, and they see a guy like Shane McMahon, you're like, oh no, don't do this to me. That's exactly what it's like for me. So horrible ending. Didn't like it one iota. Whoever come up with that needs to be really sat down, and it was dreadful. Even for the storyline of it, it was awful. It was like, I really don't care that Triple H saved him and then beat him down, and it just, that didn't do anything for me in that mark. Matt, of course, there is a video going around of Triple H towards the end of it. You can get this on YouTube. Just type in Triple H Survivor Series knocks into a wall or something like that. That was probably the only bit that I was smiling at towards the end of that match. But just walked straight into it. And again, the comedic moment for me. But yeah, just a terrible finish. This is why I say I wish that it would have been Brock and AJ on last, because I think that would have sent people home a little bit more happier. Would have sent me home. I might not have been talking about this match the way I am, because if it was second on from last and I still had AJ and Brock, it would have been maybe made it a little bit more easier going. So, Matt, you said a nay to this. Is there any more positives coming out of this, Matt, other than, of course, Braun Strowman going forward here?
Sadly, not really.
No. Well, now Survivor Series as a whole show, Matt, was you the sort of grand work up? I mean, I got to say, when I look back at it, it wasn't a majorly terrific card. For me, kind of typical Survivor Series that we normally get, really. They try to promote it as one of the top four, but I do feel like it's not in the level of SummerSlam at the moment. It's not even there. It's sort of its own thing. But this is the reason why is things like this that happen at the end of it. So I'll give it a yay. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying that after this awful main event, but that's how bad some of these pay-per-views are from WWE these days. I'm giving this a pass, but again, a very, very, this will be a very low yay for me. Matt, you overall, the show, was this disappointing? Was you happy when you come out of this? I know the ending was diabolical, but as an overall show, do you give this a pass or a thumbs down here?
Yeah, it's a thumbs up for me. I mean, I think overall, looking at it, the people that did get their time in the ring did work their asses off. The women, they did a lot better job of showcasing their abilities than the men did.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how they worked that out, but they had a better ethic of how things would go down in that ring, and they all got their time. So that was fair enough. And in particular, when we're talking about the Shield match, Dean Ambrose, I'll single him out as the guy that worked his butt off in that match.
Mm-hmm.
He took a majority of the workload in that. So people like that really keep the show and the pay-per-views in particular going. So it's thumbs up. Yeah,
fair enough. I can tell you now, we've had a few emails in since we've been on, Matt, and because we've been doing the whole yay or nay, I've had emails. I can just see in the subject bar nays. A lot of people on this one. A couple of, obviously everybody has enjoyed, I think from the emails I'm getting here, everybody enjoyed the AJ Brock Lesnar match, and actually people are asking, can they have a rematch because it was that good? I doubt they will. That's the thing. I know what you're saying. If there should ever be a rematch, you'd want to have something like that, especially if you think of Goldberg and Brock last year. That made it to WrestleMania, and this would be great to get there. But they just don't do that in WWE. They don't. It's for them, sometimes the last thing they think about is the match. It's weird. If it was New Japan, this would probably get onto the big card, but in WWE, they don't really. They've got a different way of looking at it. Listen, disappointing as it is, I've got to say, there's only one match Brock Lesnar's going to be involved in at WrestleMania, and that's Roman Reigns from where I'm standing. And it's looked that way since last WrestleMania. So I know what you're saying. I'd rather see AJ and Brock, believe me, but there's only one way I can see it going. Matt, of course, the night before Survivor Series, we had the Takeover show, the NXT War Games. I've got to say, I'm not going to go through every match here because we're running out of time here, but I've got to say, Matt, before we get to we'll talk about the main event, but the matches leading to this, Matt. Is it me, or does NXT seem the lightest it's ever seen in a long time here, Matt? As far as a takeover, sort of a show before the big WWE one, because we used to, on our Wrestling Skull podcast, Matt, we used to sort of give the NXT the more of a praise than the actual WWE product, but are they a little bit thin for you at the moment, Matt, on talent? Because I was watching some of the matches, I was thinking, blimey, I do know who these guys are, but if you was an outsider, you'd probably be quite sort of, I don't know how interested you'd be. It seems a little bit bare for me at the moment down there. It seems like they've been the shortest they've been in a long time in terms of star power, but I guess it doesn't help when you've got people being called up left, right and centre. But your take sort of that, Matt, and the card itself before we get to the War Games match.
Yeah, I guess they are light on numbers, but definitely not short on talent. I think it's the quality over the quantity, I suppose, down there.
Matches
now.
were good.
As long as they don't have any injuries, then that's fine. They can go from A to B to C in their structured kind of feud. But it's just when people start getting injured, then you will feel like there's no alternatives. I mean, particularly when we look at the women's division, when we see people like Peyton and we see Nikki Cross and Ember Moon, how many times have we seen these people challenge for the NXT Women's title already? I mean, Kyrie was the only new kind of fresh blood in that kind of thing, and we kind of saw from her in that match that she may not be ready for the title. I mean, I saw a few instances where she hasn't quite adapted to the WWE style yet. But I think you're right there. I think it could be construed as like light on the actual numbers of people they have down there.
Yeah, but the quality you get in the ring is good enough. I mean, you got to remember. I think the days of us thinking that NXT would be its own thing and branch off and evolve into something just alternative have long gone now, Matt. And at the end of the day, in Vince McMahon's eyes, in WWE's eyes now, as much as Triple H would have wanted it to be its own thing, we still have to remember this is the stage before the main roster. And so you can't expect it to be, the dominant thing, even though it surpassed the main product many a times, even just 12 months back. But in this day and age, it is established as this is the place that you get recruited and you go to NXT, but that's all it is. It's the minor show to the big show, which is, it's unfortunate because I really do think there are guys that are always going to come out of NXT that will never make it on the main roster, i.e. guys like Tyler Breeze. If they were still in NXT, I'm sure we would have been more fond of a Tyler Breeze there, even though we said he's the most well-rounded guy to come up and should be up. Just a little bit more respect down there, isn't there, for some of these guys, and yet they get lost so badly in the shuffle. You just think, are some guys just better suited for that style, that approach that they do in the NXT, because it's more about the matches. But it was all about War Games. Matt, were you surprised first and foremost that they brought this match back? And again, it was a very NWA WCW type match here. Slightly different structure than what we're used to. Of course, the two rings, all that stayed the same. What did you make of that match, Matt? And did you feel like they done a good enough job of selling that as a match itself? And is this something we're going to see more of? And what did you make of that main event?
I think it was a nice bit of nostalgia. Does bring back a lot of memories. I think that the new reincarnation of it is something very different from what it originally was. Yep. So I'm not sure I'll categorise it in the same sort of banned as the originals. I'm not saying that's so much a bad thing. I mean, they definitely had a whole host of changes. You know, the cage, like outside of the cage, but you keep the people in, that was different, and no ceiling. Of course, I think that's a better idea anyway, because the ceiling was a bit limiting and could be a bit dangerous, as we saw, like what happened with Sid there in the past. And also nowadays people like to see the higher spots and they diving off the cage. So of course that made a lot of sense. And they did do a good job of explaining it, saying if you left the cage and your team is disqualified, so it means it kind of kept them contained in a different sense. So that made sense. I did enjoy the match as well. You know, I thought that they all are incredibly hard workers, and even like Killian Dane, like coming in there and having his own spots, and people are now really buying into him as a new potential kind of monster. And it almost looks like now, it's sad to say, but you know, how many times do they have to repackage the former Wyatt family, like Luke Harper and Eric Rowan? It feels like when Sanity come onto the main roster, it feels like those spots will be filled by these guys now. Yeah,
definitely. I didn't think it was. It didn't like set me on fire. The match itself. I know it's very sort of gimmicky. It's, you know, you got the when you get all the weapons out, it's like, okay, it becomes its own thing, and you know, it's strange, really, that it wasn't there. What's even more weird to me to think about is this Saturday. We spoke about this last time on the podcast, Matt. They're doing Starrcade, and you'd think of all places, that's probably where they should have had War Games. Is right there, but they've had it on NXT, and at Starrcade they've just got a load of SmackDown matches, which is so bizarre. But what that has to do with WCW, I don't know. But it's this massive tribute that's going on down there, and you're thinking, well, War Games would have surely been better placed at somewhere like that than where we are. And you know, I'm just talking about the timing of it is so odd. 1 week before, not to have thought about that for Starrcade, but there you go. It is what you got. I don't know if we'll see it again. I know that I've always heard from various people, like Bruce Pritchard, whenever I listen to him on his podcast, that Vince McMahon was never a massive 2-ring fan about having rings together, because that's floor space you're not selling, and you know, it's hard to get the hard camera where you need it to get, and all the rest of it. So I don't know if that's a thing that will come up to the main show, but I think in NXT he would allow it. But whether we'd see it in WWE, I'm not so sure. I think if we were going to see it, we would have seen it by now. We would have probably seen it at Survivor Series. To be honest with you, I think I'd rather have, you know, wouldn't have been a bad call, Matt, if they'd have gone with War Games maybe in the main event, other than what the traditional Survivor Series match, considering what we get at the moment it seems so sort of like bog standard at the moment. Each year that we go into these things, they seem so similar sometimes, the way they're producing them. But that was NXT. Again, you can't really say too much bad about it, because, you know, it is, as a product, it is the place you go before you get to the main roster. So that basically sums that up. Matt, from a standpoint of Brock Lesnar now going forward, obviously he's the Universal Champion, like you said, very much protected. Are you now thinking that he'll be holding the belt to WrestleMania in your mind, and it's the challenger of Mr. Roman Reigns? Is that still your match, Matt, at this point?
I would be thinking so. Although, you know, they can mix so much stuff up in the Royal Rumble. When they did the actual whole title was on the line in the Royal Rumble kind of thing, you never know what they're thinking when they approach that kind of time. But, you know, the payoff match has to be Brock versus Roman. And whether or not, you know, the title will be on the line in that match, you know, I'm not really too fussed with the titles on the line. If Brock was to lose the title and it be Roman versus Brock without the title, I think I'd even prefer prefer that because that match sells itself anyway, and
Sure.
give someone else the title and make them actually put on a show with it, and make them actually make the title mean something in a different sense. I know Brock brings legitimacy and dominance to it, but it's about time that someone else had